What is going on, Washington fans? I am Josh Taylor, and welcome to Bleacher Report. And on this stream, Washington finally can close out a team. Doesn't matter who it is. They win 24-16 in Atlanta, a game that seemed like our fans took over Atlanta, honestly, leading up to this game. Saw a lot of Washington fans representing in Atlanta, so that's good to see. And I want to see how we could do to bounce back. We had that break after losing a heartbreaker at home on Thursday night to the Bears. And you have this long stretch of just kind of waiting and seeing how this team would respond. I think they did. I think that was the biggest thing that I saw leading up to this game was that this team did respond in a couple ways. I'm going to talk about some winners and losers of this game, go over some stats, and just kind of give my overall thoughts. Just a little instant reaction to this game. But Washington won. That's all that matters, to be honest with you. So I got a couple polls that I'm going to drop as well. And be sure to flood the chat, and we'll talk about this game as we go through. But let me go ahead, and I will bring up some stats here. I'll sharing the screen here. Take a look at how we wrapped up. And the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me first off was Sam Howell, 14 for 23, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, still had 5 sacks. That's just way too much, in my opinion. I want to see that get a little bit better. He's on pace to break the record for sacks in the season. I think he's well over, I want to say it's like 33 or 34 right now on the season. So I want to see Sam Howell get better at, throwing that ball away, not standing in the pocket for too long. Something he's still struggling with, still kind of looking around, not throwing the ball away. That's right. Just Aspect said that's how we get it back. Finally, J Hat's defense stepped up in the fourth quarter. Absolutely. Chase Dorsey, big W today. Left hand up. Let's go, baby. Wasn't pretty throughout the whole game. That's for sure. But still, we got the win. We finally, down the stretch, it was ugly. It was ugly down the stretch. I'm not going to lie. Let me go ahead and drop the first poll for y'all. Which one was true today? Washington's defense played better, or Atlanta's offense is just bad? I think we saw how bad Desmond Ridder is today. Some bad decisions by Arthur Smith as well. I'm going to go ahead and talk about those as well. Dominique Greer says, pay Cam Curl today. This is probably Cam Curl's best game of the season. He hasn't been that well leading up to the season. Sam Howell, the GOAT, says 3 picks today, finally. One was a little easy, but Jamin Davis got his first career interception. I love Jamin Davis. I know he's a guy that gets hated a lot. Actually met Jamin Davis here in Austin last year. I live in Austin, Texas, for those that don't know. Just moved from Virginia a couple of months ago. But Jamin Davis is a cool dude. He trains down here in Austin. I met him at the airport, talked to him for a little bit when he was with Landon Collins. And I'm a big Jamin fan, so I really love seeing that he got that interception at the end on Bijan Robinson. But 3 turnovers today. Douglas is 060 had 3 turnovers today, and we stopped the run. We see what happens when you take away Atlanta's main formula. But I will say, I would have much rather closed out on offense a little bit better than we did. And just looking at that real quick, how we really ended the game, what the last few series looked like. So we had 4 plays, 21 yards with took up 2 minutes near the end of the game. And then we got the interception, and then 3 plays, -6 yards, only a minute 42. But this was the worst one. 3 plays and 2 yards and only 24 seconds off the clock that last series that we had on the game. I want to see this offense, run the ball down people's throat a little bit more, kind of just close out the game there and not give Atlanta the chance to come back and score and go for 2, which was stupid, by the way. I have no idea why Arthur Smith decided to go for it in the first place early in the fourth quarter, to where it's like, hey, if we don't get this, then we have to go for 2 the second time. Stupid call. I think Arthur Smith is a terrible coach. Dominique Greer says Khaleke Hudson deserves more snaps. I agree with you. I think he looked good, had that big stop at the goal line, something we've been missing. There were some really bad spotty calls as well. And I'll talk about that. I'll give my thought on Cody Barton, because I said something on Twitter that people aren't really agreeing with, and that's fine. You can follow me at Josh Taylor FB or X, whatever you want to call it. But Sam Howell, only 23 passing attempts today. That's a miracle. That's about 10 times less than what it usually is. I think he averages 30-something a game, which is not ideal. Still only 22 carries. Let me scroll that down a bit so you can see 22 carries, 72 yards. Still only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. I want to see that running game get better. So I know we call up 22, but it's still, it just seems like the running blocking isn't there. The lanes aren't there. Cole's Bowles said, is pain okay? Yeah, it looked like something in his finger. I don't know if he pinched a nerve, if he like popped his finger out or something, because he was down in his stance. Then he kind of just fell, got the penalty. And you can see his hand was hurting. But from what I saw and heard, looks like his hand's fine. Montez, I will say Montez not being on the field allowed Casey Toohill to put on a showcase today. I've been saying it. Casey Toohill is so underrated, and he showed his speed today as well. The dude balled out. I'm going to see what his total stats look like. Cody Barton led in tackles with 15 and 6 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. I'll go ahead and talk about his penalty because people don't agree with me on this. I know that the refs were bad that game, but Cody Barton has to be disciplined on that roughing the passer. He can't like lunge his whole body and then come down on the quarterback. He has to stop and at least jump straight up, get in a position to where he can make the, break up the pass or whatever. You cannot come down on a quarterback's head, especially with both hands and his head. Like pretty much his whole body was just coming down on Ritter. You can't do that. And I know it's a soft call. The league is soft now. I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, we know what the rules are. We know you cannot hit a quarterback's head, let alone, like I said, it looked like he came off the top rope and like the WWE, like he was about to hit him with an elbow drop or something. Like you can't do that. But still, overall, I think the defense like kept their blueprint of like that mentality of like bend, don't break, which I hate, by the way. I think that this defense needs to be more aggressive. I think this defense needs to go for more turnovers and stuff like we did today. We saw Kendall Fuller in a position. I said Kendall Fuller's been underrated all season. He had a really bad game last week. I get it. You're not going to be perfect all the time, but he's like the only guy that gets interceptions until today. St. Juice gets his first one, an easy one in the back of the end zone. And then Jamin Davis gets his first career interception today too. So overall, like I'm not too mad at the defense because at least we didn't allow 30 points this time. Like it got somewhat better. But when it was as bad as it has been in the past, I don't see how it could get, let's see, 100%, literally almost sold the game at the end. Someone said Barton played well. Beaton one said Barton played well. What do y'all talk about? He jumped to deflect the pass and the QB held onto it. That's true. But once again, whether he gets rid of the ball or if he throws it and he bats it down, you still can't hit the quarterback in the head with both arms and his body and his head. Let's see. Offense produced nothing in the second half. And that's one thing that was concerning to me. Let me go back up to the offense real quick. Because we saw Sam Howell, like I said, he didn't throw it as much. It seemed like Eric Bieniemy was a little conservative on some play calling, but the momentum was just not there in that second half, which is crazy because I feel like that's when our offense clicks the most. I expected Sam Howell to have over 30 passing attempts like he usually does, only 151 yards, still 5 sacks, still holding on to the ball too much, not really feeling around the pocket. Even when he does have a clean pocket, the first one of the game, he like goes into the pocket when it's clean, and he didn't need to. So I want to see a little bit more on offense, though, especially in the running game. I like how we got B-Rob the ball out in space on a pass. Cool. He ran a dude over. Like anytime he sees the end zone, he turns into a drain. The dude just runs guys over. I love that. But I still am just waiting for my guy, Jahan Dotson, who had a bad drop today. Y'all know I love Jahan. I covered Jahan at Penn State. I'm one of the biggest Jahan fans. The absolutely brutal drop there. He only had that one target, but still, you got to catch that one. Antonio Gibson didn't really have much. Logan Thomas, nothing on offense. Curtis Samuel has been one of the more reliable targets. Something I've said on third downs and in like the red zone, especially, Curtis Samuel has turned into an actual weapon of ours. I think he's a guy that's going to be getting more respect. And then, of course, Terry's going to do what Terry does. 11 targets, 6 catches, 81 yards, average 13.5. But I just wanted that second half momentum to keep going. Like once we went up, 24 to 10. I was like, this is where I want this offense to really take this game over. And this is where I want this defense to be aggressive and just take the hope out of Atlanta. But we just kept letting them drive down the field. We had short drives. We had drives that didn't go far down the field, resulted in 0 points. Jahan, 2 bad drops this year, usually reliable. Absolutely. He had the best hands in his draft class by a good margin. So I'm surprised by it. Hopefully he'll bounce back. He had the little bang up injury with his ankle last week. So I'm not freaking out about Jahan. It's only his second season anyways. I think we got a little spoiled by how good he was last year, but I still think he's going to be good. Which was true today on the polls. Washington's defense played better, or Atlanta's offense is just bad. 81% of people said Washington's defense played better. I do agree. I'm still not off of the, Jack Del Rio is not a good coach. I think he's terrible. I still don't really like what I saw. Too many big plays and too many like bending, not breaking, and just not being able to stop, especially these third downs. It seems like every time there's a third down, like I know our defense is going to give it up, or if we get a stop, there's going to be some kind of penalty. And let's see, who was the biggest loser today of the game? Is it Cody Barton, Arthur Smith? EB's play calling late because it was bad, honestly. I think his play calling the first half was great. I think his second half play calling was suspect. Throwing it when he wasn't supposed to, running it, and it wasn't really anything, flashy, wasn't anything creative in the running game. I'm still waiting for that running game to get going, guys. I thought we were going to see a little bit of Chris Rodriguez. He got a couple carries, and then that just didn't last long. Or then Desmond Ridder, who I don't see how he, survives the rest of the season. Their offense just has too many weapons, and that's what I'm saying, guys. Like I can't be but so mad at this defense. You only allowed 16 points. Drake London still had 9 catches for 125 yards. Ridiculous. I mean, he's a giant, and I loved him coming out of the draft. But still, 12 targets, 125 yards. Like we're allowing 100 yards per game to whoever their number one wide receiver is, like guaranteed to everybody we play. And that shouldn't be the case. When you invest this much on the defensive line, they should be able to get to the quarterback a little bit more. But then also, you need to be able to get some turnovers. You need to be able to cover these guys. And then Kyle Pitts, we knew he was going to score today. Wasn't a surprise. 6 targets. He had 4 catches, 43 yards. Not crazy. I think he had more last week. Last week was more so of his breakout game. But still, we knew he was going to find the end zone in this game. But nonetheless, I think that, let's see. Yes, fired Jack Del Rio. Too much talent on the defensive side of performance poorly. That's a scheme issue. And that's one thing that really blows my mind is like, what's going on? Because we saw Casey Toohill come on the field, and he didn't skip a beat. I mean, Casey Toohill was great today. So I can't be but so mad saying, like, why is the defensive line not getting pressure on some of these guys? Because, like I said, Casey Toohill comes in. He has 2 tackles, 2 solo, 2 sacks, and a tackle for a loss. So, obviously, whatever is being called up, Casey Toohill knows what to do. I think that the difference is Casey Toohill is faster than Chase Young. He's faster than Montez Sweat, which is crazy, but he is. And he showed that his closing speed. And I don't know what it is about Chase, but Chase wants to get that strip sack every time. You see him fighting the hands of the quarterback. He doesn't try to wrap him up. He doesn't try to take him down. He's like top 5 in the league in pressures, but he needs to translate that. If he can get that to sacks or even just quarterback hits or anything like that, he is going for the home run every single time. He wants their arms. He wants their hand. Whichever one has the ball, he's going for it. So Chase needs to be able to wrap some guys up a little bit better. But Casey Toohill showed out today. Big breakout game for him. Like, we've known that he's been pretty good. Someone said, Will Levin said, hot take, Toohill is better than Chase. I don't think he's better than Chase. I just think he has a better closing speed than Chase, and he has a better finish than Chase. So I think other than, Chase knows how to get to the quarterback, but I want him to be able to finish. I will say we finally saw Quan Martin today. Like, I've been wanting to see more Quan Martin. We saw him on special teams. He was actually really good on special teams as that gunner. Really took over Jeremy Reeves' spot. Unfortunate, Jeremy Reeves is likely out for the season. They haven't said he's out for the season yet, but probably with a partially torn ACL, but we'll see. But still, I think Quan Martin was really good in special teams. I think he was, quick to get down there as the gunner like he's supposed to. They couldn't really get anything going on special teams, which was big. And then he looked good. The Cody Barton penalty, they actually brought Quan Martin on a blitz, and he's the one that really started everything on that play. Got there to the quarterback first. So at least we saw something out of Quan Martin today, which is good. Like I said, I'm not mad at these guys that we drafted because we haven't seen enough of them. I think I want to see the coaches actually put some of these guys on the field. We saw Quan Martin today. We saw Chris Rodriguez today. Maybe we'll start seeing some other guys. Quan Martin was there on the blitz penalty. All they did today was lose a slide in the draft. This team goes nowhere this year. I disagree. I'm still not out on this team. Like, I think that this team could still win some games. I just still don't know who this team is, which is kind of weird to say. I feel like at this point in this season, we should have somewhat of an identity. I feel like I don't know what this defense is. We give up a lot of plays, but maybe we can get a couple turnovers and keep us in the game. And then on offense, we just throw it a lot. And when it hits, it hits. And we just don't have much of a running game. So that's one thing I'm really struggling with, is seeing like who this team actually is. And we play the Giants next week. So we're really going to see what this team is, because if we can't play them, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, they got a lot of guys banged up. I don't care who's playing. If we can't beat the Giants in their state right now, like how they are with their injuries and just how they've looked all season, they have the worst offensive line in the NFL. We thought we did, and we don't. And the offensive line was great today too. Of course, condolences go out to Charles and Jen. I can't imagine what they're going through today. So, I'm glad we could get this win for them today. But just really unfortunate. So, big news, right before the game. So, just thoughts with them. I literally can't even imagine what they're going through right now. So I'm glad we could give them something today, to just help with what they're going through. I can't imagine, literally no words to go to what they're going through today. So, but Cornelius Lucas steps in, didn't look bad. I think the offensive line was much improved today than they have been in the past. The biggest thing with Sam is that he can't get rid of the ball sometimes. If it's not there, he goes through his progressions. He wants to run. And sometimes it works. And sometimes he just has to know where he is in the pocket and what that pocket looks like on the outside. And he has to know that he can't just always duck it and go. Sometimes you just got to get rid of it. And there was a play where Joey Slye kicked the field goal. The play before that, it was 3rd and long. And he got sacked, I think, once or twice on that drive. He completed it for 8 or 9 yards, whatever, got us into field goal range. That's what I want to see out of Sam. He didn't freak out and take another sack. He saw something. It wasn't the first down play, but it was enough to get us closer into field goal range. That's what I want to see out of Sam Moore. So let's see who's the biggest loser today. 61%. Surprisingly, a lot of people say Eric Bieniemy's play calling late. 28% said Desmond Ridder because he is bad, and 11% said Cody Barton. Let me hit y'all with one of the other last polls I got here. The biggest winner today, we say Sam Howell, Casey Toohill, Ben St. Juice, or Brian Robinson, who scored today. Ran a couple guys over. He did the same thing last year in Washington, around the same part of the field. Caught the pass, ran the dude over on the way to the end zone. That's Brian Robinson's brand, is just running guys over. Let's see. Beaten One says, here's the real review of what happened today. All right, buckle up. Offense and defense showed improvement. Play calling with a lead needs to change. Defense stepped up with turnovers in key situations. Pressure forced bad throws. Khaleke Hudson and Toohill showed that they deserve more playing time. I think that's spot on. Beaten One. I think the offense did look somewhat better today. It's just that second half, for some reason, we could not carry momentum at all in offense. We couldn't sustain a long drive, and we didn't have many big plays that second half on offense. The defense did play better today. Kendall Fuller was in a position to get an interception. Like I said, some pressures led to Ridder throwing some bad ones, but then also just bad play calling, and then just bad quarterback play by Ridder led to the Ben St. Juice interception. Jamin Davis was in a good position on that last interception at the end of the game. So I don't disagree with that at all. And I do agree with that. Khaleke Hudson, that's something we've been clamoring for. Barton plays 100% of every single snap. Not only that, but he has the green dot on the field to where he is communicating to everyone what's going on, which is kind of scary to me. Why is the one new guy on defense, who doesn't look good, by the way, why is he the guy that's calling the plays and communicating on the field? Why is he the green dot? I want to see more Khaleke Hudson, especially in stopping the run, something that our second level hasn't been that good at, though. That's something we were much better today. You want to talk about Bijan Robinson, you want to talk about a generational talent. He might be a top 5 running back in the league right now. 13 carries for 37 yards for Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier out of BYU, was it 2 years ago? 13 carries, 51 yards. Much better in the running game. I know it's still 106 yards, but when you have Bijan Robinson, who's been tearing it up all season long, I think that really helped things out today. So defensive line-wise, was the pressure there all game long? No. But stopping the run-wise, if you would have told me Bijan Robinson would have had 37 yards, we're winning that game. Unless someone just goes crazy in the receiving game. And Drake London was pretty close. 9 catches, 125 yards, kept him out of the end zone somehow, thankfully. And like I said, Casey Toohill deserves more playing time. We've been saying that. Why don't we rotate guys more? Why don't we do more stunts on the defensive line? It's just like the same looks every single play on the defensive line. Just run straight at your guy. You're either going to go inside or outside. There's no stunts. There's no like flips. There's no like ghost moves, nothing like that. There's no delayed blitzes, really. We showed a couple more blitzes today. There's a couple that stood up. Besides like the Quan Martin one, I think we brought Cam Curl on a blitz like once. And I think I seen Jamin go on a blitz once. But still, like I want to see more of that, more creative stuff, more dropping guys into coverage and bringing other guys that you're not expecting. Just make the quarterbacks think instead of seeing the same thing every single play. Let's see. Doug Alicious 06. I see him in the chat all the time. Thanks for coming by, Doug Alicious. Appreciate it. To me, all those sacks are on Howell. And honestly, like today, I mean, I love Sam Howell. I think he's looked great so far. But a lot of those sacks are on him today. If JDR is so bad, why does he have 15 top 10 and 10 top 5 defenses as a coach? The last few seasons he has. Last season it was great. But you can't look at that defense so far this season and tell me this is a top 10 defense. We're bottom 5 right now. And yards, points for sure. Heading into this game we were. So I don't think that it's been a top 5. It's been a bottom 5 defense all this season. Last season, great. What happened from last season to this season, I have no idea. Especially when you add 2 guys. And we haven't even talked about Forbes today. Emmanuel Forbes, I don't think he played a single snap today. He didn't start, that's for sure. I don't think he played a single snap today. Danny Johnson comes in. Didn't have the greatest game, but it was better than what we would have seen out of Forbes. I mean, but you can't fire Jack Del Rio right now. Like, who's going to take his place? Like, literally, no. Everybody on defense is new. The only person that was here early last year, like we got rid of, we lost Chris Harris. We didn't get rid of him. We lost Chris Harris. He's the only guy that would have made sense to replace Jack Del Rio. I think obviously Jack Del Rio is going to finish out the season, but you can't think that the new owners are going to keep Jack Del Rio next season. Truth, Howell has showed a ton of promise. His one drawback so far is taking sacks. And that's the one thing that he did a lot of at North Carolina, and so did Malik Willis. They were both bad at it. And it's gotten better, but still, he's on pace to break the record for the most sacks taken by a quarterback this season. And he's tough. So, like, I respect that. He'll get right back up. Like, but eventually he's going to take too many hits or he's going to take the wrong hit. And I don't want to see that out of Sam. Love seeing him to death. He's developing great. I saw good things once again. Had some really good throws today as well. M. Brown 31 said Khaleke Hudson and Jamin Davis should be the 2 linebackers. I mean, I at least want to see what Hudson can do in coverage. Chris Harris is with Houston now. That's what happened. Exactly. And guess who's over there coached with him? D'Amico Ryans. I love D'Amico. Love Coach D'Amico. Biggest winner today. Let's see. 53% of people said Casey Toohill, who came in. I mean, mostly because Montez Sweat got banged up. And then 27% said Sam Howell. 13% say Brian Robinson and 7% say Ben St. Juste. I'll leave that one up for a little bit. But overall, I still don't know what this team's identity is, to be honest with you. I don't know what to expect out of this team going to New York. I think I like what I've seen out of Sam. I think Sam's getting better almost every single week. I know he didn't have 300 yards today, but he only had, he had under 30 passing attempts finally. That's something I've been waiting to see. But I really challenge EB to run the ball more, get some kind of running scheme going, whether it's more with Curtis Samuel in the backfield, more Chris Rodriguez. Just kind of mix things up because we still haven't seen that run game, a consistent run game throughout the season. Even when we have a lead, we should be running the ball more. And I'm like, all right, this is probably going to be a run. And like we're throwing in first down with the lead, like in the fourth quarter. It just didn't make sense to me. I know a lot of people said the play calling late in the game was suspect, and I've brought it up. I mean, look at our last few possessions here. Well, this is the last 3 possessions we had, not counting the one kneel down in the game. 4 plays, 21 yards in 2 minutes. Then we got the interception. Okay, cool. After the interception, we had 3 plays for -6 yards, and it only took a minute and 40 off the clock. And then our last possession had 3 plays, 2 yards, and only took 24 seconds off the clock. And we punted the ball back. And then Atlanta drives down the field pretty easily. But thankfully, Arthur Smith went for 2 for some reason. Early in the fourth quarter, so I kind of pretty much took them out of positions where even if they score, they have to get 2 now. So I wasn't like freaking out, but so much. But at the same time, like you can't let that happen. You've got to be able to control the game, run the ball, not throw the ball as much as we were, and you're burning no time on the clock as well. Let's see. Douglas just says, guys, this is Jack's 4-year system. So as fans found it unacceptable, we've had this bat off defense for 3 or 5 weeks. Now I think it's extreme to fire him in season, but you have to help this young QB with short fields win games. Keep it up, defense. And today, like, we did see a big jump from the defense. Like I said, 3 turnovers is big. We've been waiting for those turnovers to translate. But what do you do with Forbes? That's really what I want to end this stream on. What do you do with Forbes? Like I said, I don't think he played a single snap today. I know he didn't start. Danny Johnson started over him. That's your first-round draft pick. I know he's looked bad. And is it a coincidence that now we get 3 turnovers on defense and, keep a team to 16 points with him off the field? Is that a coincidence? Or is it just like our defense actually played good today? Or is it actually because of Forbes? And Inc. BRDOY once said, let him sit. No, you can't trade him. Obviously, you can't trade him. Maybe you do let him sit, but for how long? M Brown 31. I feel like Atlanta lost this game, to be honest. Have to be better. I don't feel like they lost this game. I just feel like they didn't win this game. And I feel like we didn't really do enough to be like, dang, we closed this team out. Like when it was 24-10, I thought that's when we were really going to just, put our foot on their throat and just take it to them. Like I was like, all right, that's what I want to see. And it just seemed like right then the offense started going down, defense started going up. It's just like we can't click as a team on both sides of the ball at the same time for whatever reason. And I don't know why. It kind of blows my mind. Forbes was in on a few plays as a rotational player. Well, good. It wasn't enough to be noticeable. We're like, hey, he was bad. He got burnt. So that's good. So I'm not going to be, too hard on him. But still, like, how long does he not start for? Like that's a real conversation when you start having. We didn't win as much as Atlanta gifted us one. Don't disagree with that at all. Stop run from drafting. He took Forbes over Christian. Anthony Hinkle says, with the athletic ability and speed of a young and Sweat, I wouldn't mind seeing them drop back in coverage every now and then a different look instead of having the same rush every now. And there's a couple times we do drop Young and Sweat back a little bit, but not a lot. He took Jamin Davis over Parsons. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. That's unexcusable. But still, how long do you let Forbes sit and really learn as that rookie? I don't know. I think against the Giants, you got to get him back on the field, especially if Daniel Jones isn't playing. If it is Tyrod Taylor, we'll see what the Giants look like. I think they play tonight. It's not tomorrow. So, yeah, it's got to be tonight. So we'll see what they look like tonight. But still, that's a conversation I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about this week is why Forbes isn't on the field. And Ron said they're going to see how he bounced back and really wait to see how long it took to get him back on the field. But it's a good win. And I asked this before the game. I said, is this a must win? And a lot of people said, heck yeah, it is. And I don't disagree with you. We're back at 500. We're 3-3, getting into divisional play. After, losing a close one to the Eagles already. We need this one. And I said this before, we need to sweep the Giants. Like there's no reason we cannot beat the Giants twice, especially with how they look right now. Real quick, C Money says he needs time. 6 games isn't nearly enough time. I agree with you. But is it worth putting him out there and getting burned by guys every single week? And is it worth giving up these big plays and giving up touchdowns and stuff? This is absolutely a game that we should have won. James B. Rob 23. This is a game we should have won. We should have won the one against the Bears too, but we didn't. So here we are. This is why we talk about it. But I appreciate y'all stopping by, and I will be back tomorrow to give out some grades and stuff like that. Go in depth. I'm gonna watch the game again tonight to really break down a couple things. Then I'll be back tomorrow. And then, of course, after the game and next week against the Giants, I'll be here. Another game that we should win. So we'll see. I appreciate y'all stopping by here on Bleacher Report. I'm Josh Taylor. Follow me on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, at Josh Taylor FB. And I'll be talking all things Commanders, give you all some graphics and stuff like that too. And then I upload stuff to my YouTube as well. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to participate in all of your fantasy contests, whether it's the NFL, MLB, PGA Golf, NBA, even college football. This user-friendly app, you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. And my favorite part is that when you sign up in your first deposit, you use my promo code JTFB, they will double your first deposit up to $100. Now, how does it work? You pick lower or higher on stat projections that Underdog Fantasy gives you, whether it's passing yards, rebounds, points, you name it. And for each selection, say you want to select 3 people or 4 people, your odds go up based off of how many you select. My favorite feature, however, is sometimes I want to make 4 selections and I'm not feeling too confident in all of them. I love taking advantage of the pick'em insurance to where if I miss one pick in my contest, I still get paid out on lower odds. So sign up today, download the app, and use my promo code JTFB to get up to $100 in your first deposit.